Hey guys, Josh Koerner here. Hope you've been having a great day today. Couple of things super cool walking into the marketplace. Sigma 60 to 600 f4.5 to 6.3 Sport with optical stabilization, 56 f1.4 for Sony APS-C E-mount, 28 f1.4, 40 f1.4, 70 to 200 f2.8. Now, there's a lot to break down here, and I think we also got to mention that walking into this conversation is about to be the Sony G Master 24 f1.4 and 135 f1.8, also G Master, which super cool, right? So this is going to totally change the landscape of both third-party competitive lenses and first-party lenses, because this is Sony making the first genuine effort into long-term lens production and customer support with the 24 and the 135. Now, these are lenses that companies like Sigma have kind of pushed Sony into, and Canon as well, in responding to Sigma. But these are, because they're like off standard focal lengths, the 135 is not a lens that's going to sell very much. It's much like the 100 f2.8 STF, whatever it is, lens that Sony's already made. The 24, similarly, these are niche lenses, and people that pick them up are very invested in that kind of photography. That's also an indicator to me that Sony might start following a more Canon-oriented approach towards their lens design and production, which means that we could see lower tier versions of these coming soon at reduced price points and slightly smaller apertures. Ideally, f1.8, f2, something like that, because right now the widest that we have in terms of primes is a 28, and that's not quite wide enough in my book for primes. Canon has a fantastic stable of primes that are cheap as dirt to very, very expensive, and I think that's something that Sony really needs to start considering as a long-term play to stay relevant in the marketplace while Canon is gearing up, while Nikon's gearing up for their mirrorless plays, especially with how we've seen both Canon and Nikon's approach to their lenses. I think that's key. Now, the 135, of course, super cool. Gonna need to try both of those out. But what I'm really here for is the Sigma lens. Is that 56 f1.4? I'm totally buying it, because yes. And there are a couple other notable standouts, for me at any rate. The 40 f1.4, that's a very non-standard lens. That seems to me like a response to the Batis that we should be seeing soon, the Zeiss lenses that we should be seeing soon in the 40mm range. Very smart on Sigma's part, because Sigma's going to be able to bring in a competitive lens at a lower price and similar optical quality, if not better, and a faster aperture. So that's going to be really killer for Sigma. I think that's really great for us consumers too, because then we have a reasonable choice. Do you want same or better image quality with a faster aperture and a lower price point, or do you want a more compact lens that fits the overall aesthetic of your Sony E-mount camera a little bit better, but also costs a little bit more and it's a little bit slower in terms of aperture? I think that's a reasonable trade-off to make, and I'm really glad that Sigma is allowing us to make that comparison and that debate. Now, the other couple really interesting things is 28 f1.4. Right now, Sigma has a 20, or let's start at the really wide end, 14 in terms of primes, and then 20 and 24, and then 35. So adding that 28 is going to be really attractive to a subset of street photographers predominantly, because most people don't use 28 on a regular basis. What it does, though, is it allows you to get a bit wider than 35 with very little distortion, and that really fast aperture is going to make a really huge difference. The 40, again, though, it's just very interesting lens to me, because that's really close to what the human eye sees. The human eye sees 44 millimeters, basically. And so I'm really interested to see how that performs and what price point they bring it in at, because it's probably really easy to make, really cheap to make, and it doesn't require too much extra re-engineering. And really, when you think about it, like the 30 f1.4 for APS-C E-mount and micro four thirds can cover most of a full frame sensor, honestly, and that's a 35, so it's a very small tweaks between the 50 f1.4 and the 30 f1.4 from those two different sensor size capacities to that 40, and then clicks into place. So it should be really easy to get out, and I really wonder who the market on that is for, right? Because it's not going to be event photographers, it's not going to be, you know, sports or wildlife shooters, it's not going to be landscapists. So maybe street photographers are going to really appreciate this lens. I don't know, it seems like it's a little bit big for that. The 60 to 600 f4.5 to 6.3 OS Sport, wow, 10x zoom. It looks huge. Probably gonna have fantastic image quality, probably gonna have a fantastic price point. So that's gonna be really fun to see and to get some hands-on time with that. I think that's a really cool looking lens. What I'm really excited about though is the 70 to 200 f2.8. I'm kind of at a point with my photography where I just want something to cover everything, and then I can pick and choose as my needs are instead of having to rent a lens like I'm doing right now with the Sigma 20 f1.4 for Sony E-mount, or make do with what I have. And Sigmas in the space are really compelling to me personally because I really like Sigma. The image quality is superb. Hopefully the Sport comes in at a competitive price point to the Tamron G2, because that's really what's going to sell it for me is a price point. And the f2.8 aperture. Sigma's optical stabilization isn't that good historically, but their image quality tends to be very strong. The problem is that they've struggled with zooms lately. So the 24 to 105 hasn't been what the Canon has been or the Sony has been. The 24 to 70 has had similar issues. The Sony and the Canon both have performed a little bit better. Nikon, of course, much better. So I'm really hoping that this comes in and is a fantastically powerful lens, because I'd love to be able to use it through my MC11 on my Sony bodies and get that telephoto range at f2.8. I've had an f4 70 to 200 before, and it was too dark of an aperture, it's too slow an aperture, and I really want something faster. That would help me, you know, not have to make the decision on a 135 f1.8, which, while really cool, is a little bit less flexible than a 70 to 200. I am super excited about all of these lenses, and I hope that you are too. Check out the affiliate links in the description if you're interested in the gear that I use to make my videos. Thank you very much for your time and for your attention, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one.